Tracker Dan here with the Tracker Craft Report. There's been a lot of questions about the history of the Bloodshark, so I'm here to clarify a few things. Back in the early 2000s, I loved carrying these mini Cullodes, and so I would make all kind of modifications to the sheath to make it smaller and more usable. But they discontinued this, and it was already made out of a brittle, sort of, brittle steel. It was a lower end stainless steel with hollow ground to it, and with this thin a tip and hollow grinding it, you're losing these tips a lot, because it's super thin. So I've made all kinds of sheaths for all sorts of blades out there, and I decided, instead of making snowflakes and going through that design process for stuff that's not optimal in the first place, I was just going to make my own blade. And I've always modified blades and done this and that to them, but in 2008 I finally sketched out what I consider to be a modern day Culloden. So same length as the cold steel mini Culloden, and but stronger tip, flat ground, finger grooves for edge orientation, and a lot of other things which we can go over later. Still has that butterfly effect to it, to the handle, for getting it out in lots of different positions. It really helps for deployment. But but a little more rounded so that it fit into the hand easier. So I made up a wooden shape for it just to play around with before actually investing in the steel and machinery to work it. So liked it a lot and went ahead and did some prototypes, and you can see how it's got that same profile. I did a full height grind because I really like thin edges for being able to maximum cutting, and easy to pierce things because nice and thin tip. So, but got some strength to it because of the profile. But which way the edge is facing in the dark because of the finger grooves. And it adds to retention because you can put this in the palm of your hand and use your middle finger or your index finger for retention. So lots of self-defense applications for this, a lot of survival applications. Like it fitting into the palm of your hand there makes it real easy to drill holes in wood for different projects you might be making for survival. And I came up with the Sheath Design back in the early 2000s when I first got to the teams, and I was stitching things to keep everything real narrow, leaving a pocket hook on it so you could just throw this whole package in your front pocket and deploy it from there. But you can also mount it to your hip. You can, with this steel clip that I developed, by cutting down these bigger clips. I'd cut them down and shape them like this, so that's cut right down the center. And this way I could mount this on my boxers when I'm sleeping, put it on surf shorts, gear, whatever you need, and the sheath is gonna stay where it's at, instead of coming with the blade. So, and discuss the sheath aspects some other time. But so finally, just a couple years ago, I designed and had manufactured this clip, which is wider and stronger, easier to mount, has a lot more applications. I can use it on all my holsters. So after doing a couple prototypes, I started to adjust the design a little bit. I started to angle this up more so it fit better into the palm of the hand, and still has its deployment strengths. And it just slowly modified till where this is the final design here, and got a nice angle that fits in the palm really nicely for utilitarian uses and whatever you need. So this blade was designed to be small, light blade that you're always going to have with you for self-defense, medical management, cutting yourself loose from something that is keeping you from getting to safety, that sort of thing. Now, I was trying to keep it as thin as possible, so I was using the Line-X on the handles at first. You know, always making sure that the support went up wherever your fingers were going to be at, so you don't rack yourself. And but some of the feedback from the field was guys were wanting cord wrap on top of their Line-X, and the Line-X was a pain in the ass anyway. So started off with, you know, single ridge wrap, and this slowly evolved to you know, getting the wrap up as high as it'll go, so you got good support everywhere. And I just, when I wrap these things, I wrap them so tight that my fingers are aching, and I've got blisters and calluses, but this stuff is rock hard, and it's not going anywhere on you. And that, you know, that evolved into doing double ridge, where which actually works out better for ambidextrous, because it's going to actually be narrower than the single ridge is, sheath wise, so for ambidextrous uses. But it's got a great grip to it. You're not going to lose it. You know, I make different attachments as far as frog knot or lanyard, which has all kinds of applications. But you can see how, you know, even though this is a high-end stainless steel, 154 cm, there's still rust. This has been in and out of the ocean for over 5 years, and the rust doesn't bother me as long as my edge is true and sharp, point is pointy. It's going to do whatever I need. So my grinds are rough because I'm just looking to make everything true. I don't care about shiny, flashy finishes, because I actually don't want this thing to be flashy, and I think it, you know, adds to the strength of the blade, having all those ridges and valleys, those micro ridges and valleys in it. So could be wrong on that. And you know, I moved up from the super small rivets because this gives you more lashing options, and you can use small zip ties in it, but still has, you know, my characteristic flat landing strip in the back here, and it can go in ambidextrously. So I can put this away without looking in the dark, and when I need to be keeping my situational awareness up and about. Because in tactical or life-threatening situations, you do not have the time to, and you can't use a flashlight to look and put your blade away. It's got to be something you can do in the dark, and you can do it quickly because you need to get your gun back online. So keep that in mind. That's what goes into all my my sheath designs and my blade designs. You know, some people like it without the lanyard on it, just slick like that. So it's going to be a, and I do a lot with flat wrap, so it's totally flat 550. And for more concealability, it's going to make the sheath and everything a lot thinner. But I also make, this is my latest thing, is the shroom cap, which is just adds to your grip for deployment, retention, and you know, for using in the palm of your hand. It's a good addition. The name for Bloodshark came from the this looked like a shark to me because of the dorsal type fins and the type of tail type thing, and I didn't want to do anything cliche like seal fang or frog claw or trident this, trident that. So it looked like a shark to me, and I've always taught when I'm teaching survival skills to people that they have a blood bubble around them. So when they're carving, if someone walks into that blood bubble, they could easily get cut. So you need to be aware of your blood bubble. So if you, out of your periphery, you catch someone moving your way, you can stop. Or if they are moving into your blood bubble, they can be aware. Okay, gotta reroute. So that's what went into this name. It's not, a zombie killer knife. It's your everyday carry for self-defense, medical management, and cutting yourself loose from things that would keep you from safety. So there you have it. There are plenty of counterfeits out there that are not trademarked Bloodsharks, and they're really lacking in a lot of the design features that I intended for this blade. So if you didn't get it from me, it's not a Bloodshark.